Howdy peeps, I'm Steve and I have thoughts on why diet and exercise doesn't work for most people. Hopefully you've watched part 1 of this series in which I explain the science of losing weight. If you haven't watched part 1, please do so now, as some of this might not make sense if you don't have that knowledge in your head. For those of you that are blind, I am indeed a fat guy. I have been fat for my entire life. Like many other people, maybe even you, I've struggled for much of that time trying to lose weight. This video is going to explain why it's so damn hard to lose weight, why you shouldn't feel like a failure because you can't lose weight through diet and exercise. Now, I am still fat, and so you might be wondering, why listen to me? Well, I am down 60 pounds from my top weight, so I do know a little about this, but I am not a medical professional. I'm just a person who thinks about things, has too many cameras, and knows how to edit a video. As I mentioned in part 1, this video is not for everyone. If you have an eating disorder or a medical condition that impacts your weight, get the heck off of YouTube and talk to a real doctor that specializes in your condition. While I think everything I have to say is backed up by the science, I might have things wrong, and you should really talk to a professional before doing anything that might impact your health. Now, I'm making this series because I'm hoping that it helps people with their life's journey. And when I have thoughts in my head, sometimes I just have to get them out. I do ask that if you learned something, you hit that like button down below, and that way it'll trick the YouTube gods into showing this to other people, and they might learn something too. You could even subscribe, but this isn't the traditional channel. Videos will come when they do, and they'll be whatever the heck is in my head, and I just need to get it out. What I will never ask you to do is to send me money or buy some dumb product. I have a great job as a highly paid tech bro. If you want to pay it forward, give $5 to the next homeless person you see, and don't worry about what they're going to spend it on. Okay, back to the topic at hand. Why does diet and exercise fail for most people? Does it really fail? How do I know it fails? Maybe it just fails for me and everyone I've ever known. Maybe there's a whole universe of people that I have never met and that no one I know has ever met, but it worked for them. Wait a minute. I lost 60 pounds through diet and exercise, so clearly it does work. Yeah, not so fast, bucko. First of all, I'm talking about diet and exercise for the long-term overweight. We've all seen those ads for some fad product with that hunky dude or hot girl, and they say, I lost 50 pounds in only 12 weeks by buying this overpriced crap. It tastes like cardboard that my cat spit up. And it's a real testimonial. They really did lose 50 pounds by eating the cat spit up cardboard. But what they don't say is that they were an Olympic athlete that had been in a body cast for a year, and during that year, they kept eating like they were still an athlete, and they gained a bunch of weight. And once they got out of the cast, they went back to the Olympic Training Center, worked out for 8 hours a day, and they ate their cat puke, and sure enough, they lost 50 pounds. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about regular fat people. You know, the chunky kids that gained 20 pounds right after high school because they didn't have to go to the gym anymore, and then they gained a few pounds every year until all of a sudden they're buying XXL sizes in Walmart. Those kinds of fat people. You know them because if you're in a room with 5 Americans, 2 of them are obese. Okay, let's take a timeout and explain the things we call fat people. Now, I use the word fat mainly because it's super hateful, and I want to own it. Someone calls me fat, I'm still going to think they're an asshole, and I'm not going to want to be around them, but I am indeed fat. Science, however, has science terms, and these are overweight and obese. These are specifically defined by using a measurement called the body mass index, or BMI, that takes into account how tall you are. So if you're 4'10" and weigh 150 pounds, you're obese. But if you're 6'7" and weigh 150 pounds, you're underweight. I'm not going to go into how to calculate it because it's boring and Google is your friend. But if you wear a size XL, you're probably overweight with a BMI between 25 and 30. You wear a XX or bigger and you have a BMI over 30 and are obese. Actually, you are morbidly obese. Now, when we hear the term morbid, we think of some goth girl wearing all black and too much eyeliner, and they look like they belong in a funeral. Morbidly obese does not mean the cool goth version of fat. It means you are going to a funeral kind of fat. Your funeral. If you're morbidly obese, you wear size 2XL or bigger, you're more than likely going to die a little early. And you're going to have some major medical complications on your way to the grave. Morbidly obese is so bad that insurance companies are willing to actually pay your medical bills to have you not be that fat anymore. Well, if you have good insurance, they will. Now, because insurance companies love money a heck of a lot more than you, clearly morbidly obese is not a good thing. Before Wegovy and Ozempic came along, what they did was they sent you to a nurse who scolded you a bunch and then gave you some pamphlets to read that said, eat less, exercise more. That way, we don't have to pay a bunch of money when you get sick from being a fatty. That was the approved procedure. And because insurance companies love money so much more than they love you, when they spend money, they need to make sure it really does cost less than the alternatives. To make sure that insurance companies are getting their money's worth, they do medical studies. These studies say that if you take a room of 25 people and you get them into a medically prescribed weight loss program, 10 will walk out of that room having lost enough weight to be called a success. Now that's not too bad. I mean, sure, 15 are losers, but 10 are winners. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe diet and exercise do work. Spoiler alert, I ain't wrong. Two things. First, to be called a winner, you only have to lose 10% of your weight. So if you have a BMI of 30, you're a winner when you get to a BMI of 27. That's still overweight. You may be a winner, but you ain't anywhere in the neighborhood of a size large, let alone a size medium. Now, many of these people are nowhere near a BMI of 30. Many are simply going from super morbidly obese to regular morbidly obese. Second, if you watch the 10 winners for 5 years, at the end of that time, only 2 of them have maintained their weight loss. 8 of our winners are now losers. Now, I don't know about you, but if I had a cancer and they sat me in a room with 24 other people that had the same cancer as I did, and the doctor said, don't worry, we've got the best treatment available. 2 of y'all are still going to be alive in 5 years. Now, you'll still have the cancer, but you'll be alive. I ain't going to feel too good in that room. Until Wegovy came along, that was the accepted medical practice. And fat people everywhere were made to feel lazy, stupid, and useless because somehow we couldn't make it work. If they tried to get the FDA to approve a drug that worked as well as diet and exercise, they'd probably put the manufacturer in jail. If you aren't on a medically supervised diet, the odds are even worse. It's estimated that 95% of all diets fail. And of the 5% that do work, after 5 years, only 20% of those people have kept the weight off. Now, all these percentages are hard to picture, so let me put it another way. You and 99 other fat people are in a room. You are all trying to lose weight. 5 years later, one of you has lost maybe 10% of your weight. They won't be a size medium. They'll still shop at the big and tall store. So maybe XL, not double XL, but only one. So yeah, diet and frickin' exercise. It doesn't work. But hey, it was the only game in town. And I did actually beat the odds. I lost 24% of my weight, going from 254 to 192, going from morbidly obese to just only overweight using diet and exercise. A BMI of 38.6 to 29.2. Now, 29.2 ain't much under 30. It's not a medium, but I'm not goth fat. Of course, 5 years later, I was back up to 225 pounds. Back to morbidly obese. But again, to be a winner, I only had to lose 10% of my weight. And 225 is right at that mark. I'm still going to cost my insurance company a bunch of money later when I die early from all my complications. And they would still pay for me to go back to that clinic to forego those future medical bills. But technically, I'm still a winner. So yeah, diet and exercise, it's a hope and a prayer. and not an answer. But why doesn't it work? In part 1, we learned how easy it is. Heck, just 2.5 less cups of Fruit Loops and 30 minutes of exercise a day is all it takes. Obviously, it ain't that simple. When you're trying to manage your weight using a diet, you are going to feel hungry all the damn time. There is no avoiding it. Your body wants you to not lose weight. We aren't a penguin that can go 5 months without eating. We need to eat multiple times a day, and our bodies want to make sure that if the crops fail or winter is a little long, we have enough fat to survive. Now is where I have to explain some science to y'all. Forgive me, it cannot be avoided. Many people think that there is good food and bad food. Sure, if I eat too much cabbage or hummus, I'm going to be pretty damn gassy. But there really isn't any bad foods. With one exception, but that's for part 4. You'll have to watch that to learn the secret. Any food eaten in moderation is really fine for most people. Yes, people with peanut allergies should not eat peanuts, and people with celiac disease should not eat wheat. But extreme cases aside, you really can't eat anything. Problem is, most people just don't understand that there are some foods that impact hunger more than others. Many people have heard that carbohydrates, carbs, are bad. Actually, your body needs carbs, and they're a necessary part of your diet. But they are indeed bad if you want to lose weight. Carbs is just a fancy science word for sugar. What goes into your body as bread gets turned into sugar. Sugar is great. It's a fast, easy way for your body to get energy. Your body doesn't have to work too hard to make it into energy, so you can keep running away from any lions chasing. Too much sugar is really bad for your body. So your body has a sugar neutralizer so the excess sugar doesn't kill you. This is called insulin. If you're diabetic, your body can't produce insulin. And if you have fat people's diabetes, type 2 diabetic, it doesn't produce enough. But if your body produces too much insulin, it can also be really bad, and that can kill you. Some carbs turn into sugar really fast, and some take a little while. So, for example, if you have a can of soda pop, the manufacturer has already processed the corn into corn syrup, and that goes straight into you. Kablamo! This is why if you give a 5-year-old a can of soda pop, they run around like a crazed lunatic. If you were to eat the corn off the cob, your body has to work to extract the sugar. This is why there are no old wives' tales warning you about giving corn on the cob to children. The trouble is that your body sees some sugar and says, great, I better make some insulin so we don't freak out. Sadly, your body doesn't know if you're shooting sugar straight into your veins with soda pop or if you got to go to work on that corn. Back when we were dodging lions and eating grubs and twigs, there weren't any soda pop companies handing out free samples. So if you eat a fast sugar, you're probably going to produce too much insulin. Your body just assumes you're eating a huge amount of corn and it's processing it, and the sugar is going to keep on coming. What is the cure for all that insulin in your system? Simple. More sugar. What does this mean to you? Super huge sugar cravings. So here you are. You're just trying to lose a few pounds. But you ate a fast sugar, like say a banana, and now your body is saying, Mayday, Mayday, we're dying of insulin poisoning. Go eat more carbs. So you go eat a Snickers bar when it really wants some corn. And it again produces too much insulin to handle that Snickers bar, and before you know it, you're done with that diet. With so much processed sugar readily available, it is really hard to avoid fast-acting sugars. By the way, scientists do have a way to measure how fast the sugar is in any food. It's called the Glycemic Index, and you can find some foods that are labeled low glycemic to help you avoid fast sugars. The second reason losing weight through diet and exercise is hard is because your body metabolism will change as you lose weight. Now, metabolism is just a fancy science word for how your body deals with food and energy. Your body's number one function is to keep you alive. It's going to fight really hard when someone is trying to kill it. And it's pretty damn sure that some fool is trying to starve it to death. Remember in part 1 where I said you had to stay above 1,200 calories a day or your body starts to shut off necessary things and that can cause real problems? It actually starts to shut things off at a much higher level. It just doesn't shut off things that might kill you, so the science nerds don't warn you about it. Most of the time, this just means you're tired. You might take a few more naps, you might fall asleep in movies. When I was losing weight, every once in a while, I'd get what my spouse called the stupids. Your brain actually needs a lot of energy to operate. In my case, my body just decided that keeping energy stored up for the winter was more important than being able to do long division. It wasn't all the time, it came and went, but there were definitely periods where I was not as quick as I normally was. Another way your metabolism changes is that you get good at the exercise that you've chosen. When you start working out, 30 minutes of your vigorous activity will burn the 250 calories that you need it to burn. But after a few months, your body's in a rhythm and it just takes less energy to do the exercise. When I was losing weight, I was constantly changing the kind of exercise I did to make sure I never got used to any one thing. Now, your body's also going to change in some great ways. If you're exercising, you're going to start building muscle. And this is awesome. Honestly, if you've never done strength building, you have no idea how cool it is when you do something that you don't do regularly. It used to be hard, and now it's easy. For me, it was putting a heavy bag in an overhead luggage bin. I was like, whoa, this thing doesn't weigh anything. But fat is super efficient at storing energy. A pound of fat has the same calories as 2 pounds of muscle. Sure, your belt line is shrinking, you're tossing luggage around, but your weight is going up. Your body is melting blubber and you're getting swole, but that needle on the scale is going backwards. Your body is making you take naps, you're falling asleep in movies, you're getting really good at running upstairs, and you're getting jacked, but your weight's going up. Stupid diet's not working. I quit. The next reason people quit is it is so freaking slow. Remember from my first video where we're hoping to lose a pound a week? I lost 60 pounds. And with that math, it takes more than a year. And that was just to go from double XL to XL. It's going to be months before you get to move your belt down one notch. And it's not as simple as losing a pound every week. If you're obese, you'll lose at least 5 pounds in the first 2 weeks if you exercise hard. Probably more. You're going to be jazzed. You're going to be like, yes, finally, this is the time. It's real. Of course, what you don't know is that it's all water weight. You're so unused to exercise that you're literally sweating out pounds of water. Then you go to the movies. You buy a small popcorn. No butter. You only eat half because you're counting your calories like you should. Only 160 calories for that half of a small popcorn. 1.5 cups of Fruit Loops. Totally within your diet. Step on the scale the next day and you're up 3 pounds as your body fights to keep enough water in it to absorb all the salt they put on the popcorn. Stupid ass diet. I'm out. Lastly, there's all those bastards in your life making it so much more difficult. You'll confide in someone and they'll tell you about some dumb fad diet. Go on that all kale diet. My girlfriend's brother, he lost 30 pounds on it. Oh, he's an Olympic swimmer, by the way. Or they tell you about all the other people they know that tried to lose weight but couldn't. Hey, I know 23 people that tried to lose weight, but they couldn't do it. But I'm sure you will. Yeah, real nice, Nancy. Thanks for the motivating talk. Or maybe it's just the simple fact they don't even notice. We all think we're the main character. We're down 20 pounds. We feel awesome. Belt is down 3 notches. Heck, I think I saw a collarbone in the mirror yesterday. When is one of these jerks going to notice and say anything? I'm tired all the time. I'm sore from going to the stupid gym all the time. I am hungry. I ate a Snickers bar because I made the mistake of eating a frickin' banana. I haven't lost a pound in 4 weeks. I am hungry all the damn time. None of the jerks at work have even noticed that I've lost any weight. And I am so frickin' hungry. That's it. I'm done. So yeah, that's why diet and exercise doesn't work to lose weight. It used to be the only way, but it never worked for most people. Oh, and by the way, it is 25 pounds. That is the first time someone said to me, have you lost weight? 16 weeks in and down 25 pounds is what it took. But I was ready for someone to notice after 4 weeks and 10 pounds. If I was able to lose weight with diet and exercise, why am I making a video about why it doesn't work? For that, you'll have to watch part 3 on the things I wish I knew before I started taking Wegovy. There should be a pop-up around here somewhere for that. If you've made it this far, it is now mandatory that you give me the thumbs up. Subscribe or not, I don't care about that. And if you really loved it, give $5 to the next homeless person you see, and don't worry about what they're going to do with the money. Thanks again for watching me get this out of my head and into the world.